Welcome to Lisa Marie's Cooking Live. I hope that you are having an amazing Wednesday. It is Wednesday, isn't it? Hump day. Well, we needed to eat dinner tonight, and I thought about do I have in my fridge that I can make something pretty amazing tonight. And I thought about why not do Salisbury steaks. I have ground beef in the fridge. I had mushrooms in the fridge. I have fresh parsley. I have potatoes in the pantry. So that's good makings for some Salisbury steaks and gravy. If you've never had homemade Salisbury steaks and gravy, you are in for a treat. Thank you for joining the broadcast. It's so good to have you joining us. I am actually I've already put some potatoes on, and I'm going to put some salt in my potatoes. Hi, Pam. Thanks for joining. And then we'll get to making our getting our meat prepared for our actual Salisbury steaks. So I'm going to just put some salt. You got to salt your potatoes when you get ready to boil them, because if you do it afterwards, hi, Kay. Thanks for joining. Your potatoes are not going to taste salty, and you'll be adding a bunch of salt just to get them salty. So we've added some salt there with our potatoes. I've got my pan starting to get hot here, so we can put some Salisbury steaks in there. Has anybody ever made Salisbury steaks? Hello, my sister, to you as well. Anybody ever made homemade Salisbury steaks? Well, if you haven't, you're in for a treat. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, cousin. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Okay, so what I'm going to do in a bowl, I have some onions. I've got some bell pepper. And, oh, you haven't made it? Okay, Pam. Well, it's real easy to do, and I have some garlic. Delish. Yes, I love Salisbury steaks and gravy. And I have some ground beef here. What I'm going to do, you can use a food processor. I'm just going to use my mixer. Hi, Emily. Thanks for joining. I'm going to use my little mixer here. And I am going to put my eggs. I have 2 eggs. I am going to throw my ingredients in here. And we're going to chop, chop, chop. Let me put my top on. Let's turn it on, and let's do a little pulsing. Because I want to chop that up. Hi, cuz. Thanks for joining. The whole garlic, yeah, because it's just going to puree in here. Look at that. It's already kind of like pureed everything up. We're just going to add that. We want to have lots of moisture in our Salisbury steaks and our ground beef. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put some parsley in there too. Let me grab my parsley, y'all. I love fresh ingredients when you are making any type of savory dish like a Salisbury steaks. Use fresh. And I'm just going to throw that in there. You can put it again in a food processor, or you can just chop it up. Whatever you want. Hi, James. Thanks for joining. We're doing some Salisbury steaks and gravy. So everything's pretty pureed. Look at that. Lots of fresh ingredients. I'm just going to pour some in here. Let's just see how much we actually need. I really like it to have a lot of flavor. We're also going to add a little salt. We're going to add some pepper. And I want to put a little cayenne pepper in there. You can also use red pepper flakes. That was quick, I know, right? A little cayenne pepper. And I'm going to use some herbe de Provence. I like it because it has thyme in it, marjoram. Let's see. That's your ingredients. So it has a lot of the really good stuff that you want to have when you're doing You've got some spices, including rosemary, marjoram, thyme. So you want to definitely have thyme when you get ready to do your Salisbury steaks and gravy. So all I'm going to do with this is just combine this a little bit. We don't want to mix it too much. I'm also going to add some panko breadcrumbs. I like to use regular bread, but I don't have any bread. As a matter of fact, if I had regular bread, I don't think I would have been making Salisbury steaks. I think I would have been making hamburgers. Because that was easy. This is easy too. And I love Salisbury steaks. Hope you do. So anyway, I'm going to add some of the panko breadcrumbs. I want to say maybe about half a cup. You don't need a whole lot. We're going to just mix that up. And I'm going to pour the rest of my ingredients in. Y'all see that? Make sure y'all can see it good. Pour the rest of my seasoning in here. It's going to add some moisture in. You can use your hands if you want. Don't be afraid of the meat. Any store, any store, yeah. Rosemary, yum. You can find herb de Provence anywhere. I personally, I don't know where I bought that. Probably at Sam's or Costco. Alright, so we got our ground beef mixed up. And we've got our panko breadcrumbs in here. We've got some good seasoning and herbs in here. And we've got fresh garlic, bell pepper, onion. So we've got a lot of flavor in here. And basically all I'm going to do, I've got my pan heating up. Let's see. Let me wipe my hands, y'all. So I am going to take y'all over here. So I've got some onion and garlic too. I would have used bell pepper, but I ran out of bell pepper, so I'm using onion and garlic. So we're going to season our pan a little bit here. So let's see here. This is pretty hot too. I'm going to put my onion in first. Then I'll add my garlic in later. And here we're just going to stir our onions in here because we want to add some flavor here. Put a little salt and pepper. Y'all know how you gotta add a little salt and pepper to everything. So let's put some salt and some pepper. We want it to taste good. We're gonna make a little gravy too. So in the meantime, we're gonna start forming our Salisbury steaks. And I'm gonna use a little scooper here. So I think this is a good size. It's a large scooper, but this is a good size for a Salisbury steak. And I'm basically going to just roll it like you roll a little ball in your hand. Your hands are actually going in the opposite direction. Don't get too confused with that. But I like to pat mine flat. And you know how we bought those Salisbury steaks, or we used to eat Salisbury steaks when we were younger? They used to serve them at school and they would always be shaped like that. You don't have to shape them like that if you don't want to, but I am. I'm just going to start laying them right here in the pan. It won't take that long. So who loves Salisbury steaks? You can use this later for a nice little sandwich. You don't want them to be too thick. It's a good, nice size right there. And we'll just keep making our Salisbury steaks. I have my flame like on a medium heat. Hi Rhonda, thanks for joining. We're doing Salisbury steaks. Hi sister-in-law, thanks for joining. Salisbury steaks and gravy. We want to brown these. Who likes Salisbury steaks? Everybody? I love them. I like that gravy that rolls right over the top of my mashed potatoes. That's what I love. You can determine how big you actually want your Salisbury steaks. Ever since a kid, I know, right? I hear you, Emily. Ever since a kid. So you can kind of just shape them. You shape them in your hand. I like mine to be kind of like oval, oblong. Whatever you got to do. And if it's not perfectly shaped, don't worry about it. It's your Salisbury steaks. Yeah, I think I had probably at least a pound of ground beef. At least a pound. I also have some flour because we're going to use that to thicken our gravy. And maybe you all use it. I use it sometimes. It's called kitchen bouquet. Kitchen bouquet helps your gravies to turn brown. I'm not a big fan, but I do love gravy. Okay. Just make some room in here in this pan for some more Salisbury steaks. Rolling it up really good. The reason why we're rolling it like this is because we want to make sure the meat sticks together and it doesn't come all apart when it's in the pan. Takes a little, I mean, you know, the food processor basically, or the mixer, does most of the work for you as far as cutting up all your ingredients so you don't have big chunks of like onions and stuff in your burger, but you still have all the flavor. And these are little steaks. And I'm actually using a 90-10 beef, ground beef. So it's a good beef. I love that scooper. And you could actually take your Salisbury steaks. Hi, Cousin Ava. Thanks for joining. You could actually take your Salisbury steaks once you're done. You can freeze these. I'm a big proponent of freezing stuff. You can freeze almost anything. You can even freeze avocados, just in case you didn't know that. I could just look at all that. All the seasoning in it. It even smells fresh. I'm not using a whole lot of oil in the pan right now. Not a whole lot of oil. Let's make a little bit more room. Because I think I have maybe about 2 more. Let's see. I have at least 1. And it's going to be a small one, but I have a little bit left. So what I'm going to do is divide these up. Because they'll be kind of small. It's going to be good. Some Salisbury steaks. I asked my son what did he want to eat. He didn't care as long as it was going to be food. Get my little spatula. We want to make sure that these brown good. That one's not ready to turn over. Alright, let's make room. Make room, make room, make room in the pan. They're soft at first. This is like going to be my sample. It's so tiny. I'll get a chance to taste it and see exactly what it tastes like. But I know it's going to be good because I know everything I put up in there was good. Just stick it right there on the side. Don't even matter. It's going to eventually fall down in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I have several things, y'all, that we're going to put in our Salisbury steaks. It says, can you also grill them? You can grill burgers like that, but not your Salisbury steaks. I guess if you wanted to have grilled Salisbury steaks and gravy. I haven't done that one, Em. But I have some mushrooms, and I have bay leaf. Show y'all some of the stuff I'm going to put in there. And then I do have a little flour because we're going to use that to thicken up our gravy. And I have some butter. Butter. It makes me sing. Love me some butter. Okay, let's check these little Salisbury steaks out. This is basically the star of our show tonight. And this is spontaneous. So if you have not subscribed to Lisa Marie's Cooking Live, subscribe in the upper right hand corner. You have those earrings? Hey! You know where I got those at? It starts with an S. S. And then the last word ends with a N. 2 words where I got it at. I don't want to promote them, you know. It's not like they're paying for this. Alright. So let's get ready to turn our Salisbury steaks over. Want a little browning to take place. And our onions are in there. This is a big pan too, y'all. I think I'm going to have to flip some of these again to make sure they brown really good. See, some of them are brown, some of them are not as brown as I want them. But that looks good, huh? Ooh-wee. Salisbury steaks. I think that my cream potatoes are just about ready. My potatoes are just about ready. Let me fork my potatoes to see if they're ready. They are almost ready. I want to say maybe about 5 more minutes on the potatoes and they'll be ready. Alright, so once my steaks brown, once they get brown, let me put y'all back on a steak. I'm going to take them out the pan and we're going to make a gravy. The gravy, I want to say the gravy is the star of the show. And there is no need for egg to hold the meat together. Yes, I did. I actually used 2 eggs, Pam, in my blender when I put all my seasonings in there. I used 2 eggs. All right, let me get a dish to take my Salisbury steaks out so we can make some gravy. I'm going to put it in my pie pan. And it doesn't need like a whole lot of time. We just want to make sure it browns pretty good. On both sides, you want it to be brown. See? You don't want to have a white Salisbury steak. You want it to have brown Salisbury steak. Okay, just make sure they're brown. You can smell it? Yes, I know. My internet feed was going in and out. Oh, okay, sorry about that, Pam. Okay, we're going to just take these out, just sit them on the side, and we're going to get ready to make our gravy. I mean, this can feed your family for a few days, you know, at least a few days. I have a teenager who eats a lot. So we're going to get ready to make some gravy. And what I want to do when I make my gravy is I want to use a little butter. I say a little, but I am going to use the whole stick, y'all. Let me get me another spoon here. We're going to take this butter and let this butter melt good. The other day I caramelized some onions and I had some caramelized onions left, so I am going to use some caramelized onion. And we are going to add some flour. Let's add a little flour. We're making a gravy. It's going to look white at first, but then we're going to color it up a little bit. So I want to say I use a stick of butter and about a half of a cup of flour, all-purpose flour. And we are basically going to just stir this good. I want to stir it together. It's almost like you're making a little bechamel. Hi Alicia, thanks for joining. Look at that. Look at just how pretty that looks. You can always add more flour if you feel like you need it. Okay, I'm going to put a little salt and pepper here in my flour. And you want to cook your flour because you don't want to have like a floury taste in for your gravy. You're just going to keep stirring it. Okay, and then you don't have to use milk. I'm just going to use some milk because that's what I have. You can use water, chicken, you can use a beef stock. It's going to thicken up your gravy. And you're going to have to stir this. So I used about, I want to say about a cup and a half of milk. Now what I like to do when this happens is I like to use my little whisk. What is the difference using butter instead of oil? You can use oil. I'm just using butter because I have butter. Alright, so you see how this thickens up, and I'm also going to use some water. I would use beef stock if I had it, but I don't have it. So I have some water. I'm just going to add water in. And just stir. And it's going to combine again. You just keep mixing it like this. I don't know if y'all could see that good. See how it's coming together? Alright. It's a little heavy. But I wish y'all could see that better. Let me see what I can do to help out. Okay, here we go. I know, this is our gravy. This is our gravy that we're going to use. We want to make it just a little bit thinner than this. It's still a little thick, so I'm going to add just a little bit more water. The other thing that I'm going to use up in here, I want to taste my gravy too. See how it tastes. So I'm just going to taste. It tastes like it has enough salt and pepper in there for me. Alright, so what I want to do with this is I am going to add a little bit of my kitchen bouquet. Where are you? You can use kitchen bouquet. It actually just helps with the browning. So it'll turn this brown. You know how you have like a brown sauce when you have your Salisbury steaks? So I'm only going to use about, I want to say about a teaspoon. And it's going to turn our gravy brown. A nice brown color. We're just stirring that. Once I put my meat, my Salisbury steaks in here, y'all, this looks so good. Once I put my steaks in here, if you know, once I put it in, I'll see if I need to add some more water. What did you say, Kay? Looks good. It needs color. Yes, kitchen bouquet. I learned about kitchen bouquet at a very young age. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to add my steaks back in. We'll do that one at a time. I'm going to just use my little tongs to do that. And these are going to continue to cook in our gravy. And the meat is really moist. It's really super moist. Kitchen bouquet, Pamela, yes. That's correct. I'm also going to add some mushrooms in here. And put the rest of my onions in there. I've got my mushrooms and I've got some bay leaf. I'm going to put some bay leaf in here and I'm going to put my mushrooms in here. And I am going to add a little bit more water. Just a little bit more water. Let me go grab my water, y'all. Hold on one second. I'm going to do maybe about another half a cup of water, not a whole lot. And just mix it around just a little bit. I really want my Salisbury steaks to be not completely covered, but covered a good bit. At least halfway up the sides. And my mushrooms are going to just cook in there, and my flavoring from my bay leaf is going to get up in there. It's going to be delicious. Just a little. Alright, now we're going to let that cook for about another 10 minutes, and we'll get our cream potatoes ready. Our Salisbury steaks should be good to go. You can actually let these bad boys, the longer you let them cook, the better they'll taste. That's all I have to say about it. But they're in good place right now. We got our Salisbury steaks covered. Look at that. Look at that. That looks so good. Oh, I almost forgot. I had some leftover caramelized onions. So I'm going to put those onions in here as well. Where is my little... You don't let your onions go to waste. I had roasted tomatoes left and some onions, but I'm going to add my onions right here on top. I didn't need to caramelize anymore because I already had some. Ooh, y'all, if y'all could smell what I smell. So good. Yeah, we were just kind of figuring out what were we going to have for dinner, and that ground beef being in the fridge sounded like a great idea. Let's get started on our... Let me put you over here so you can see what I'm going to do. Y'all don't want to be looking at me, directly at me all the time. I've got some garlic too. So let's see. Hey cousin. Yeah, I love bay leaves. My dad used to cook our spaghetti with bay leaf. I love bay leaf. I'm going to add a little extra garlic. I forgot I chopped up some garlic. I'm just going to put a little extra garlic in here. Love to have that garlic. Look, that's what y'all should be looking at. Something about garlic and beef, they go really well together. Let me just mix that up in here. So we have onions, We have some garlic, mushrooms, gravy, and some beef that's seasoned perfectly. And the breadcrumbs is going to help it to be nice and soft and juicy when we bite into it. This is a pretty big pan. What you could do is you could cover it with aluminum foil, or you could just leave it just like that. Let me flip a couple of these. So I want to make sure that gravy's on there good. Let me taste. Yum, yum. It doesn't really have a flavor. Kitchen Bouquet doesn't really have a flavor. Not really. You could add a little pepper to that if you want to. I think I might add a little pepper. Some red pepper flakes. Because I want it to be a little bit spicier. Just a little bit of red pepper flakes. Y'all know I'm a pepper girl. I love the spice. Let's get that in there. It's okay to have a little spice in your food. Hi, Mom. Thanks for joining. Well, and I do have to say that this is not one of your dishes when it comes to cutting calories. This is like all about enjoying the Salisbury steak and gravy. All right. Voila. Let me get my potatoes out of this pot over here. And we're going to make some cream potatoes. Dump them right here in this container. Give me a second. I've got to go drain my potatoes, y'all. They have boiled and they are perfect. So when you've got hot potatoes, that's when you want to start adding all of your ingredients in. For instance, you want to have some warm milk ready. I don't have my milk warmed yet. Hi, Donnie. Thanks for joining. So I am going to heat up some milk just in case we need a little milk. Let me heat it up. While my milk is heating up, you want to have some butter. I'm choosing to use a salted butter. Let's see. That's those Louisiana taste buds. Spice is good. Yes, indeed. Yes, 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 ma'am. Okay, so let's see here. And I thought frozen what? I thought, and I bought frozen Viola? Frozen Viola? What is frozen voila? Oh, so frozen voila is what you're saying. Yes, voila. Now I'm growing. Okay. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is we will take, you can put it right back in your same pot if you want. I'm just going to put it in this little bowl. And I'm using, like I said, I'm using salted butter. And you don't need to put a whole lot of butter in here. But I'm going to use like 3 tablespoons of butter. So I actually have my little mixer here. We're going to put a little salt and pepper. You could actually add some garlic to this too if you wanted to. So some pepper, a little salt. Don't be afraid of the salt when you're doing creamed potatoes. Believe me. Even after you add some salt, you still might want to add some more. And we boil them with salt. So, and I am basically going to just, I don't want to like overbeat these. I just want them to be nice and fluffy and creamy. And it doesn't take much. I will add the milk, but not much. Because these are nice. These are russet potatoes that I use. Hey Galen, thanks for joining. That's pretty much it. We're going to add just a little milk, just a little. Maybe about 2 tablespoons. Because we just want to keep them nice and fluffy. We don't want them to be like sticky and gooey. So you don't want to overbeat your potatoes. Look at that. Creamy, yummy, buttery potatoes. It's going to be perfect with some of that gravy. Anybody want to taste? Anybody want to taste my potatoes? Let's see, I could have bought meat and potatoes, sweet potatoes. Yeah, you can use sweet potatoes too if you want. Beef and sweet potatoes go really good together. Let's check our Salisbury sticks because our potatoes are ready. Hi Tracy, thanks for joining. Y'all, these things here, they look so good. And look at that gravy. Oh, I love a nice, thick, yummy, delicious gravy. The mushrooms look great. I like to be able to see my mushrooms when I do Salisbury steaks. I don't want to have like my, all right, Lisa, hey. I like to see all of my ingredients. I think these are just about done. Let's see. I'm gonna, remember I told y'all I had a little sample. Where's that little tiny one at? Here it is. Not that that should be the one that only one that I eat, but I am gonna put that on a plate right now with some creamed potatoes. Okay, so be generous with your potatoes. I like to be generous with my potatoes because I love potatoes. Just you put your potatoes right there on a plate. That's like having a loaded baked potato, right? And you don't have to dig it out. They look so good. I am getting full. Yes, believe me, Galen. They are so good. I already tasted them. Pam, I can smell it, y'all. Okay, so let me get my fork. I like to put just a little bitty circle right here, y'all. Not a lot, because I'm going to put some of my Salisbury steak gravy right there. Oh, look at all of this gravy. Y'all don't all hurt y'allself at one time, okay? Okay, hi Kim, thanks for joining. I have to taste my Salisbury steaks and gravy. Just look at that, y'all. Just look at that. Thank you, Lord, for this yummy, delicious food. Bless it, use it to nourish my body. In Jesus' name, amen. Look at my onions, y'all. Y'all see my onions? My caramelized onions? And look at this Salisbury steak. I don't know if y'all, let me see. Look at that steak. Just look at how tender it is. When it's like fork tender. It just pulls apart. Look. Let me taste. Torturing. Not too bad for a Wednesday. Couldn't think of what I wanted to prepare, right? Let me get my onion good. I want a mushroom too. There's my mushroom. Oh my goodness. Y'all have no idea. Y'all really have no idea. This is so good. And I don't even have the peas on a plate. But this is my sample plate, right? So, you know how easy it is to make Salisbury steaks and gravy now. If you have some ground beef in your fridge or in your freezer and your family's hungry, surprise them with some homemade Salisbury steaks and gravy. Really easy to do. And you do have the option of using oil or butter. I just love that butter. Butter makes everything better. And you can use milk. If you don't have milk, you can use like a beef broth to thin out your gravy some. But I used milk. You can use vitamin D milk. I had half and half in the fridge. You gotta go at what you have in your fridge. You don't want to say, oh, I got to go out and buy all of these ingredients. Start thinking about the foods that you have in your fridge and your pantry and plan a meal. Your family will not be disappointed. Whenever you're cooking food at home for your family, you're tasting it and you're adding the spices that you love to taste in food, your family is going to love it. And, you know, it might take you a little while. Just do a little taste testing along the way. But before you know it, you will know exactly what to put in your food, and you'll know exactly what it's going to taste like. Your family is going to absolutely just love it. They're going to love to see you in the kitchen cooking anyway. They're not buying all that food out, or fast food, or restaurant food, or leftovers from the restaurant. Yep. So we got to remember, we can cook in our kitchen. That's why we have a kitchen in our house. As a matter of fact, when they design a house, they design it with a kitchen. For a reason, so you can go and cook in it. But I love sharing what I do here in my kitchen with you, and I thought it would be fun to share Salisbury steaks. It was spontaneous for me. If you subscribe in the upper right hand corner to live subscribe, you will not miss my broadcast whenever I spontaneously broadcast. But on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do live cooking here in my kitchen. If you have any suggestions as to what you'd like to see me cook in the comment section below, make sure that you write it in the comment section below. And do share. It means a lot to me to have you share right there in that share button with all of your friends. Ask them to come and watch what Lisa Maria is cooking live in her kitchen. And it really does help. There is a lot of work that goes into preparing food live. And I love to share that with everybody so you can learn how to prepare something delicious in your kitchen. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast. Thank you for sharing with your friends and inviting them over. Come back on Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Shrimp pasta. Sounds like a plan. I have had a few requests for shrimp pasta, so we may just be doing that really soon. Anyway, y'all have a good rest of the week. Oh, you know what I forgot to tell y'all? This is a little off the subject, but yakami? Yeah, yakami would be good too. Thanks, Kay. That's a good idea. I have a niece that loves yakami. My parents, everybody, I don't know too many people in New Orleans that doesn't like yakami. I love you too. I love you too. But today I have had the pleasure of taking care of a baby bird that flew on my patio while I was working outside this morning. and I'm feeding it water, like dripping it from my finger. And the wildlife place said to give it some like dog food, so I've been feeding it a little bit. It's so small, y'all. I'm gonna take a I have some pictures and I'll post it so you can see that. But it's a precious little bird. It's called a barn, B-A-R-N, sparrow. You know, God says that my eye is on the sparrow. So I know if his eye is on the sparrow, he's always watching me and you. So remember to always keep God first. Enjoy cooking for your family. And come on over on Monday to watch what I'm going to be cooking live here in my kitchen. Loved sharing it with you. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good night. Ooh.